5-star reads, new favorite series, and some other really interesting books. This was a really nice reading month for me, so let's go through everything I read and see if you could be inspired to pick up some of them. I started this year with finishing Heavenly Bodies, and then I picked up Fallen Stars by Imani Eriu, and this is 2 books in the Heavenly Bodies series. And I must say, I loved the first book. In a world ruled by the stars, cruel and merciless gods, Elara has been cursed by fate. A prophecy promises that she will fall for a star and it will kill them both. When the star descends to hunt Elara, the neighboring kingdom sees an opportunity to steal her from her home, the kingdom of night, to Helios, the kingdom of light. And there they want to train her to use as a weapon against the stars. And she is forced to train with the very handsome prince, even though he is her enemy. And then things start to happen, feelings starts to grow, and we must see if love can overcome this old prophecy. So I thought this was a perfect start in a romantasy series, and I was really eager to see where she took it in book 2. In this book we have everything you need from a romantasy book. We have this beautiful celestial setting with different kingdoms, with different magic. We also have a really handsome main male character, and this book also makes you feel a lot. Both for Elara, because she's grieving after her parents has been murdered and her kingdom has fallen, and also we have enemies to lovers, and we also have a lot of yearning. So this book makes you feel all the feels and also fall in love. The thing I missed a bit in Heavenly Bodies, I got more of in Fallen Stars, and that's world building. Because even though I like a fun romantasy, I love when the world feels a little bit more elaborated, and Fallen Stars delivered on that. But this was a kind of a different book, and I must say I liked it, especially when it all came together at the end, but I liked Heavenly Bodies more. When I have read a really good first book, it's really common for me to be a little bit scared in the middle before you see where things are going, and I had that feeling when I read this, because it takes place in a little bit of different settings. We are dream walking for a while, we are also at seas a lot, and there are a lot of more world building and magical creatures and things happening at seas with mermaids and other stuff. And we are also introduced to other new side characters and a secondary love story. So first I was a little bit hesitant, but then I think it really delivered, and it also set up for the 3rd book, Holy Monsters, which will be released in November. So if you like romantasy and want something new to dig into, I really recommend this. My next book is a bit trickier because I have a lot of mixed feelings about it, because I saw so many good reviews about it and people were raving about it online, and I almost didn't see anything else, but it's The Everlasting by Alix Harrow. And even though this isn't your typical romantic book, it's a love story, and it's written in a really beautiful way. At first, when I heard people say it was poetic, that also threw me off a bit, but when I read it, I started to understand what they mean, and I think it's really, really unique. It's set in a fantasy world, but it reminded me a bit about our, especially, it felt like it took place like in England, close to the World Wars. And we get to follow this scholar, and he is not an outcast, but he describes himself as a coward and doesn't really seem to fit into society. And he has been obsessed with this lady knight, Sir Una Everlasting, ever since he was a child. And he becomes a scholar and he gets to study her. But then he gets a really special mission that he needs to travel back in time and make sure that she dies in the right way, so history will play itself out as it should. And when he goes back in time and meets Sir Una, he realizes that he might not want to help her die or want her to die at all. And this is a quite short book. It's only about 300 pages, and I really liked the beginning especially. It's written in really unique ways. For example, they are addressing each other when they are telling their story. So it's always written to you instead of another person's point of view. And apart from helping history play out as it should, he's also writing her memoir, so parts of that are included in this book. And another quirky but also beautiful thing is that she doesn't want her birth name to be known, so it's blacked out on the pages even in this book. So it's a really beautiful and unique novel. But the thing that I had problems with was that it felt a little bit overhyped, honestly. I agree that it's really unique and I really like the beginning, but I got a little bit bored. And when the book is only 300 pages, then you might have some problems. I personally think it was because of the time travel, because when you go back in time and do the same thing over and over again, even though there are different iterations and different things happen, it still didn't feel interesting enough at the end for me. I still read it and I still recommend it, and if you want something really unique, I think you should give it a go. But like I said, I think it might have been a little bit overhyped from the videos I have seen online. But that's just my personal taste, and I think you should really try it out if it seems interesting, because it's not like your usual romance or romantasy book, and I think it was a fun read. But maybe not a 5-star read for me. But speaking of 5-star reads, I also picked up Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broandbent, and this has previously been indie published, and she is going to traditional publishing with these books now. So the third book has been available, I don't know if it still is, but it will be released in this new format in March, so I will read the third book and the last one in the series then. But I must say, I love this series so much. It has everything I want from a book series, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. In this book, we get to follow our main female character, Tisana, who lives as a slave. But on the night she tries to buy her freedom, she barely escapes with her life. Desperate to save her best friend she left behind, Tisana journeys to the Orders, the most powerful organizations of magic wielders in the world. To join their ranks, she must complete an apprenticeship with Maxantarius Farleon, a handsome and reclusive wielder of fire who despises the Orders. The Order's intentions are cryptic, and Tisana must prove herself under the threat of looming war. But even more dangerous are her growing feelings for Max. The bloody past he wants to forget may be the key to her future, or the downfall to them both. And when we're speaking about fantasy and romantasy, this is a romantasy series, but the thing I loved about it so much was it felt so rich. The world and the magic and the characters and everything that happens in this series, it feels really well thought out and not too fast-paced or anything at all. So there is a love story, and that is a main focus on the series, but there are so many other things happening as well, and so many other interesting characters. As a main female character, I really love Tisana because she is really fierce. She has her goals, she wants to save her friends and the others from slavery, and nothing will stop her from doing that. I also really enjoyed Max as a main male character, because even though he's handsome and he is in a way your typical main male character, he's also hurt and sensitive, and he's reading books, and their love story felt a little bit different from a lot of other romantasy series, honestly. And it reminded me a little bit of Wheel of Time, even though I haven't read it, I've just seen the TV series. I thought it felt cozy with 2 orders in 2 magical towers, and also the villain in this book is one of the most unique I've ever read. So this just checked all of my boxes, and I love this series from the start. The second book, The Children of Fallen Gods, didn't disappoint either. I had the same feeling when I started to read this, like I did with Fallen Stars, because I loved Daughter of No World so much, and I was a little bit scared to be disappointed. This book makes the universe feel broader, you get to know more about the world and other side characters, and that was also very interesting. At first, I just wanted to hang out with my regular characters, but when the story progressed, I really got to enjoy the side characters as well.
I really thought the first book was a complete masterpiece, and then I guess I was a bit scared when I was reading this because I didn't really know where it was going, but now there are still about 100 pages left, but oh my god.
And there's a twist in this book that just blew my mind. It's so horrible, and I just need the third book to come out soon so I know how this ends.
That was a twist I really did not see coming. That was just so sad. I really didn't think it would be like this. And I was supposed to go to bed, but now I have to keep on reading.
So if you haven't read them, this is one of my new favorite series. I think Carissa Broandbent is a genius and I highly, highly recommend them. Put them on your TBR right now. If you like romantasy and also if you like fantasy, because I said they are really well written and rich, even though the main love story takes a lot of place in them. I also read The Housemaid by Freida McFadden because I was going to watch it at the cinema and I needed to read it first. And I like crime and I have read a lot, even though I realized I have mostly read Scandinavian crime novels before. And I thought this was a fun read. It's also really short, it's about 300 pages, and it was fast-paced, action-packed, and I didn't see the plot twist coming. It didn't change my life or anything, but it was a fun read. So if you're new to reading crime, I could recommend this, or if you just want something easy to dive into for a night or two. If you want to see my comparison with the book and the movie, I have a video about it at my channel, so check it out after this. So I enjoyed myself reading this, even though it wasn't maybe more than that. And then we have my other 5-star read, which is Jade City. And I had heard so many good things about this series, so I was really curious to pick it up, and this didn't disappoint. I think also Fonda Lee, I love her writing style, I love this series so much, and it's really unique and interesting. This is an urban fantasy with a really interesting magic system where we get to follow these siblings who are part of a clan that is currently in a conflict with the other big clan in the city. And in this series they have Jade, which they use to wield magic from. So it enhances your physical or your mental abilities in really interesting ways. And I read on the back of the book that Fonda Lee is an award-winning writer, black belt martial artist and former corporate strategist, and you can tell that she is good at martial arts because the fighting scenes in this book is really fun. But there's also really interesting characters. They are kind of morally grey, I would say. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And they are complex and interesting, and you feel for them. And even though I might not consume a lot of mafia-themed bookstore movies otherwise, this is so fast-paced, it has so high stakes, and it's a really, really good series. I'm reading the second one right now, and so far it's really good as well. So if you haven't read the Greenbow Saga and want an urban fantasy that really hooks you, I really recommend this one as well. This was all of the books I read in January, and like I said, I had a really good time. And if you want to see my thoughts about The Housemaid, the book versus the movie, you could check it out here.